Okay, we are now returning to our playthrough of Spyro the Dragon on PCSX-R emulator. Now, unfortunately, due to a technical issue, we lost some footage from last time. We were in the middle of Sunny Flight, I believe it was, and basically what happened is I ended up finishing Sunny Flight and recording all of Toasty here, and then I just lost that footage. So here we are playing it again. Fortunately, thanks to the magic of emulators, we were able to just revert to an earlier save state, and I can go back and play these levels for you guys, just to really showcase one of my favorite levels in the game. This might be like my genuine top favorite level. It's such a unique setting, I think. You know, we're here in this little sunset world. Everything's really kind of mysterious and eerie in a kind of way. You know, we got this giant sea of lava surrounding us, right? So we're getting that boss kind of atmosphere, something like you might see in Mario when we're going to confront Bowser. We've got some shepherds in this level as one of the enemies, but we've been dealing with those before. We dealt with those in Stone Hill. But most notably, we have the addition of these dogs right here, these sleeping dogs. Now, get close up to him. Oh no, he squashed me flat! Ah, little pancake! So we have those kind of cartoony animations where characters get squashed flat, you know, like in a Looney Tunes cartoon. So the way you're supposed to defeat them is run them up, flame them once, they'll char them, you're supposed to get out of the way, not let them squash on you like that. And then they'll run back, they'll go back to sleep, all charred and everything, and then you flame them again, right? But there's a cute little trick you can use to defeat them in one go, which is where you go up, flame, and if you're fast enough, you can jump and actually flame them again in the air before they have a chance to jump on you. That's usually the best way to take care of it. Love that soundtrack. Soundtrack by Stuart Copeland of The Police, the drummer of The Police. Phenomenal soundtrack. Tons of great tracks. We got a good combination of these kind of fantasy, medieval kind of sounds with a lot of this kind of, you know, more upbeat rock kind of stuff. You know, it's great. Again, look at these skyboxes. Look at the amount of detail that goes into creating these skies and the clouds and the sunset over there. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, interestingly, you can see we have, you know, this whole castle is surrounded by lava, right? Now, it could be that this is just, you know, a regular ocean, and maybe it's just the sunset is turning the water orange. I choose to believe it's lava, right? But this is a game that really rewards exploration, you know, by actually looking around, going into the look around mode, and really taking in all of the art, you know. You get the sense that the developers, Insomniac Games, they really were crafting these levels with the idea and with the intention for players to scour every inch of them, you know. It's not like they were trying to just direct you down one hallway, down one corridor. They want you to stop and look around you and see the whole picture. And I'm going to illustrate one of those points right now. Thanks to the magic of save states. I've been playing this game, you know, ever since it came out, and it came out in '98. I want to say '98. That sounds right. And only recently, with my playthroughs, that I find it's not exactly a hidden area. You'll just die if you go in here. But this castle has its own little pond, right? I thought that this level was just, you know, a castle built on top of lava, but it actually has its own little pond. I'm going to show you that real quick. Get to it by jumping up here. This. Ah, there you see. We have this like little inside moat here, and I'm gonna die as soon as I hit this. But isn't that interesting? Like there's just this little feature right there that, you know, you would never see if you're playing through the game and just progressing down the story level. But by exploring, you find instead of finding like a hole in the world, you actually find places where they filled in a moat. You know, and that's so cool. Get into this castle. Now, this is a boss level, and Spyro does bosses a bit differently, at least in this game. Later Spyro games saw bosses take on a more traditional video game role. You know, usually a boss is that gatekeeper, you know, to the next level, to the next world, what have you. The thing that I really appreciate about Spyro is the fact that it's so open in how it lets you complete your objectives and how it lets you progress, and their boss fights are the same. All the boss fights are totally optional. Oh man, I might die here. Be careful. There we go. Including this one right here that we're playing right now. It it's just like a regular level that you can go into, and if you choose not to fight this boss, that's cool. You can still progress. You never get stuck on a boss, you know? Now, right now, we're outside in another one of the little secret areas. This is one that the game developers absolutely intend you to find because there's some hidden gems out here. But this is one that it's very easy to overlook. If you're not really scouring these environments, if you're not paying attention to every detail in the world around you, you come in here through the castle, you just progress, and you fight enemies. You know, you can go right past this and never notice that there's that little hallway outside. So again, it's a game that very much rewards exploration, and I love that about this.
Gnasty Gnorc has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
There's a large comic stint through, I say comic meaning, you know, funny, not comics as in like superhero books. There's a large comic stint throughout the entire game, and that's very evident in this boss fight in particular. Now look at this guy. He actually looks pretty creepy, right? Oh, he done ruined my joke there. He's in fact a sheep on stilts in a giant scarecrow costume, right? Like, how great is that? He's a sheep on stilts. And part of what I like about this game is I can't really compare it to like a Tim Burton style, you know, like it's not like that level of creepy, but even though it is cartoony, it's bright, it's colorful, it's, you know, friendly towards kids, it's also got this weird kind of, like I said, eeriness to it, this ominousness, mysteriousness, when we see these big scarecrows with sides, you know? Let's go take a minute. There we go. And there's another little clue that he's a sheep inside a costume. You can actually hear him, he baz whenever we attack him, right? Aha! 2 for 1! Oh! His costume is done. Now he's just a sheep on stilts. What's so great about this is even when he's a sheep on stilts, he's not defenseless. He will actually hit you with the stilts if you get near him. So you have to be careful. Where'd he go? He's over here. Ha! For 15 gems. Now this is just a personal preference, but I really like the style of chests in this game as opposed to later Spyro games. We have these big red and gold gilded chests, you know. And in later Spyro games, we see those replaced with little wicker baskets. And they're just not as lavish, and I always felt more like I was, you know, actually getting treasure when I was burning and crashing these chests versus chests that we find in later Spyro games. Which are not, in fact, chests at all, but baskets. And look at the AI here that we got. Like, I mean, this is the PS1 generation, so we're not looking at really sophisticated AI. But if you come in here and you charge around an orc, as long as you charge right here on this level, they'll just cower in fear of you, right? They won't do anything. But as soon as you stop charging, they'll start running away, right? And then you gotta chase them down. It's fun stuff like that that really makes the world feel alive, you know? And speaking of worlds, I think we're ready to head on to our next one.
Wow, I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like.
Well, you betcha I like. All right, moving on to our next world here. Now, unfortunately, the worst thing about losing footage when I record playthroughs is not losing the footage itself, but I lose the commentary. And I forget what I've already mentioned, what I've already gone over, and what I haven't. Because I've actually already recorded footage of me going through Peacekeepers, but that was lost with the rest of the footage. So I'm not sure what gameplay elements to point out here that I might have already pointed out before. So just bear with me if there's a little bit of redundancy here. So as you see, we've entered this canyon-like place, right? Where we've got this big ocean that we just crossed, and you can see an endless horizon off behind us. And already we can see the architecture has changed.
Welcome to Peacekeepers, Spyro. Look how our treasure has been turned against us and stolen. Recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Now again, part of what makes the world of Spyro so immersive and imaginative to me is that Insomniac really went and pulled out all the stops with regards to story world, you know, and creating that world. We don't have just one Dragon Kingdom that we're romping through. We actually have 5 worlds in total. actually 6, counting the final boss world. Yeah. And each one is populated by its own kind of sub-race of dragons that has a different domain, you know? And we see that reflected in every aspect of the level design, in their art and architecture and everything. We just came from the Artisan's world, which is where all the dragon crafters come from, right? So everything is very ornate. We have lots of filigree on the walls, etc. Here we're in the Peacekeepers world, right? And that's like the dragon's military force. And we see that reflected, you know, already in the enemies that we're facing here, but also in just the structures themselves. You see how they're angular and sharp, and they're built like you know, like military installments, you know. So now check this out. This is one of the fun things about the game. All right, so you can burn tents. That's cool enough of itself, right? Now these Gnorcs went and hid under a tent, and see, they'll actually moon you. Like that's tons of fun, especially to a 10-year-old playing this game, as I was. I was like, they're mooning me, and then you get to flame them in the butt, which is even more fun, right? It's beautiful. Look at you jerks. Not the smartest Gnorcs, I'll tell you that much. Now, I call these guys Gnorcs, because, you know, I call gnomes, I don't call them gnomes. But it's kind of funny, I think the game goes back and forth on its pronunciation. Some dragons call them Gnorcs, some of them call them Gnorcs, you know? And I think the Gnorcs pronunciation is certainly very comical. Now, some of these guys are really funny. Like, they'll kind of do this boo thing to you, right? Boo the ghost from Mario. Like, if you look dead at them, they'll cower in fear, right? But as soon as you turn away, they drop their trousers. Hey, guy, what are you doing? But what's fun is you can turn away, but then still go into first-person look-around mode and flame them in the tushy. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Now, you'll notice that the little red-hatted soldiers, they really don't do much. I don't even think they attack. I think they literally just run away as their only recourse. But the blue-hatted soldiers, they do actually make some attempt at self-defense. They will go and find these cannons, and they'll fire little cannonballs at you. It's easy enough to get rid of them. And then, what's really cool is you get to use their own artillery against them. Or at least to your advantage. I think I've killed all the enemies already. But you can actually fire cannonballs. And you actually have to fire cannonballs in order to open some of these unlockable chests. A little bit further. There we go. Boom! We have this weird purple ooze here. I'm assuming that's tar? Like, these are like tar